Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Tuck. I'm the instructor for History 111E, World History Africa, which, in spite of the name World History Africa, it's a survey of African history, really. But we will focus on how Africa fits into the wider world. Um, what I'd like to start with is going over the syllabus and then talk a little bit about how this course is going to function, how we're going to operate throughout the semester. Um, if you're watching this, then I presume you got the basic instructions down, but I'll go through it all anyway, just so everything hopefully is crystal clear. And as I said, let's start by taking a look at the syllabus here, which I hope you can see on the screen behind me. So this class is, once again, History 111E, World History Africa. This is a totally online class, so we will have no in-person class meetings. This might be the only way you see me this semester. I do have another in-person class, so I will be on campus and have some office hours, which are listed here on the syllabus. So you can come to those office hours if you'd like. Otherwise, we're going to be meeting in this way and through discussion boards and emails and so on. All right. So as I said, I do have office hours listed at the top of the syllabus here. Monday and Wednesday in person in the morning and in the afternoon, and I'll set aside an hour on Thursday afternoon for virtual office hours where we can make an appointment through Google Meetings or something like that if you'd like. But I will be available other times if you want to meet air quotes some other time. The best thing to do is shoot me an email. We'll make an appointment. The time works for both of us, and then we can do a video chat or phone call or whatever you want. Okay, a little bit about this course. This is an overview of African history. We're going to start pretty much from the beginning and go all the way through to 2022, hopefully. Now, so because of that, we are not going to be getting too detailed about any one topic because it's going to be big picture kind of stuff. So if you're taking this class because you want to know some more about, Somalia or Congo or some place or topic in particular, the fact is we may not cover that. But if you are interested in Africa, what you will have and what you will get out of this class is some understanding about the background of almost every place on the continent. Okay, so that's what we strive to provide here. Okay, all right. So we're going to have a survey of African history, which will be something of an overview, as I said, focusing on major issues, the development of societies, growth of centralized states, world religions, slavery, colonial rule, etc., etc. Okay? All right. As we go along, and you'll see once you look at the textbook also, one of our major focus points is going to be trying to combat certain myths about Africa. I think most people don't know much about Africa. You may be an exception, but most Americans certainly do not, and most of what they think they know is maybe not right. Okay, so a lot of times students of this class are starting with something of a deficit, but we'll start with very basics with the next video and the next lesson, and we'll build from there. So. Course objectives then, as you see here, gain an understanding of the broad themes of African history, learn the geography of Africa, understand its impact on history, learn how to analyze sources, and this is a 100-level history class after all, and so on. All right, so once again, this is an online course, so everything will take place through the Desire to Learn website, and I'll go to that in just a minute here. All email will be done through the NEIU email system. So if I email you, it's going to be to your NEIU email address, which I know probably none of you use as your primary email address. So you're either going to have to check it on a daily basis or just set it up to forward to the Gmail or whatever else you do actually use. All right? Okay. Now, as to how this class is going to work. I will post the weekly agenda on Monday morning every week, and then our week will continue through to Sunday at 11:59 p.m. On the following Sunday. So assignments will have to be done during that 1 week period. They generally will not carry over to the next week. So this is online, and you have the flexibility to do it on your own time. You could do it at 3 in the morning, you could do it at 3 in the afternoon, you could do it, whenever you'd like. But the work does have to be done on a week-by-week basis. Okay? And I say that then also as something of a warning, because you're going to have to be organized. You're going to have to be responsible. I'm not going to be breathing down your neck. We're not going to have a class meeting where I'm in front of you or anything like that. So if you can't work independently, then an online class like this may not be a good choice for you. Okay? If you can work independently and you like the flexibility, then it may be. Okay? And hopefully it will be. Right? And if you need help with anything, whether it's the technology or obviously class matters and so on, you're going to need to reach out to me. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing you. And so, if we were in a classroom and I would say something and I get blank stares, I can tell that it's not sinking in. Here, I don't have that. All right? It's harder for me to read the audience when I can't see the audience. So you're going to have to also be a little more proactive in that way and say, hey, you know what? I didn't understand that point, or it's not clear about the assignment, or whatever else it might be. Okay? All right. So you're going to have assignments of some sort every week. Like you have for this week, you have a discussion post. Okay? There'll be quizzes on the readings. There might be an evaluation of primary sources, or it might be a longer analytical essay. But we're going to have something every week to keep you engaged with the course material. Okay? All right. We're working on Central Time Zone, so as you know, when I say 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, that's not, Pacific time. Okay? You are going to need, of course, regular access to a computer, reliable internet connection. You're going to be streaming videos like this one, downloading files, and so on. I would also point out that doing this on your phone is not going to work very well. Okay, I'm going to be showing presentations, images, text, and so on, and we're going to be looking at documents, and the screen on your phone is just too small. You're going to need a computer, a larger screen, at the very least a tablet to look at things. All right. Academic integrity policy, I'll let you read this on your own, but Northeastern has a pretty strict academic integrity policy, which you can look at in that link. I also want you to read this other link. Okay, if you open up the syllabus on your website, you can read this link from Dartmouth, which has a section in there called "What is Plagiarism?" You need to read that. Okay, that's actually one of your first assignments. And then after you read it and you understand it, you have an assignment. You need to write out this following phrase, this following statement about I understand what plagiarism is and pledge not to commit it in my assignments, etc. All right, and then submit it to me. Right? And that's our contract, or the contract you're making with me, that you understand what plagiarism is and you will not commit it in your assignments. All right. ADA statement here, if someone is working with Student Disability Services, then you need to get me the disability services form for what services you require. All right. Links to campus safety, I'm required to put that in the syllabus, but since we're pretty much not on campus, it's probably not as important. All right. Course readings. This is a history class. You have to read. There is a textbook. You need to get this textbook. The Gilbert and Reynolds, Africa and World History, 3rd edition, 2012. There's lots of used copies out there. Okay, it's pretty old. It's, I know it's more expensive than you would like, but the fact is, for African history, I got to tell you, there's not that many textbooks out there. It's not like U.S. history, where every publisher wants to publish a U.S. history textbook because everybody studies U.S. history. Not everybody studies African history. There's not that many books out there. I find this is the best one that I found so far, for various reasons. One reason is that the authors are American. A couple of the other major textbooks, the authors are European, and they use a lot of cultural references and so on that we're not going to know. So these guys teach at American universities, and they're familiar with students like you. Okay, so you're going to need the textbook. You're going to need to start reading it right away. You actually have a section of it this week. In addition to that, I'm going to put other documents on the D2L website that you're going to have to read. Now, I'll tell you, I used to use the textbook plus another book plus the documents. I got rid of the second book. So the reading load for this class is not very heavy, okay? But you need to do all of it, okay? And you need to not just read it, but actually study it, okay? Go through it and make sure you understand it. Take notes and so on, okay? We'll talk some more about this when we get to the documents and start working through those. Okay, information about accessing D2L, which hopefully you did, because once again, you're watching this. All right, so once again, the class is going to be structured by weekly units. Week 1, week 2, week 3, whatever, right? Okay, you know how the numbers go. And these are those weeks laid out. Here are the dates. Here are the topics we're going to cover. And then here are the readings that need to be done, ideally at the beginning of the week. All right, or certainly before you watch this presentation, so you can understand it better. This is our first of 2 videos this week, the Introduction to Africa, or the Introduction to the course. The next video will be Introduction to Africa. So my advice would be read these sections of the textbook and then watch that other video. All right, next week we'll do the same. Topic is food and population movements. You have some textbook sections. And then the following week, we'll have our first primary source, which is by Herodotus, Greek historian of the 4th century BC, I think. Anyway, all right. So that's how it's going to go week after week. I'll give you you can look on the syllabus here, get the dates. You see what the topic is and see what the readings are. Once again, got to be organized and self-directed to do this. And then also every week, I will post on D2L the weekly agenda. So this is the way the agenda looks like. Once again, you've probably seen this because you're watching this video, right? Okay. So this week, we're doing Introduction to the course and an Introduction to Africa. We have our unit objectives here. Readings, I want you to read the syllabus, and then the online communications plan, and D2L tutorials document if you need it, okay? And that's going to teach you, it's going to have links in there for some videos that'll teach you how to use certain sections of D2L if you're not familiar with them, how to do discussion boards, how to post things, how to take quizzes, things like that, all right? And then once again, the section in the textbook for this week. You'll watch 2 videos this week, this one right now, and the second one, which is an Introduction to Africa, and then participate in online discussion number 1, Africa Knowledge and Experience, where you need to post about your own knowledge about or experience with Africa and read the posts for your colleagues, okay? Read what they have to say. This is a kind of an icebreaker, okay? Getting to know each other, even if it's virtually, obviously, and we're not sitting in a classroom. Okay, so that's essentially what the class is going to look like. Overview of African history. This is the way this is going to operate. Okay. Now, on D2L also, I have a discussion board labeled General Questions. If you have general questions, and that is questions not about content, but questions about how the class is going to operate and assignments and things like that, you can post them in there, because I will, of course, read them and answer them, and it might be something that your classmates want to know about also. The general rule is if one person has a question, three others are thinking of it. All right. Okay, so that's a quick overview of what the course is going to look like. Next up then, once again, get the textbook, read those pages, and then go to the next video, which is an introduction to Africa, and then post in the online discussion number 1. All right, all before next Sunday. Got it? Okay, excellent. Thanks very much, and nice sort of meeting you. Okay, bye-bye.